Hi, Allie.
Hi, Melissa. Is this thing on?
It sure
We
is. Loud
we
and
haven't.
clear.
I don't even know how to, be on the podcast anymore. We
I
haven't done it
know.
in so long.
Oh my gosh. Don't remind me.
But we just had a nice, hour-long preamble
Oh yeah. That
catch
doesn't need to
up.
be recorded. No one else needs to be a part of that.
Yeah. Um. And now we are all warmed up and ready to talk about prom.
Yeah. We
And
should do our little intro. Even though
oh
if
yeah.
anybody's listening, they probably already know what's happening. But
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, we already said I'm Allie and
yeah.
you're Melissa.
Yeah.
And this is Liverpool, USA, a best friends podcast because we are best friends.
Yes, we are.
Um, yeah, and today we're talking about prom because literally the only reason is because I got a Facebook memory today of the time 8 years ago when I asked my best friend to prom. My best friend in high school. I know this is a best friends
Yeah,
podcast.
we got
um,
You can have more than one best
and
friend.
yeah, I
Yeah.
got a couple. Anyways, so I asked her to prom, um, and even though I wasn't asking her in a like romantic date way, I still like did it up right. And so there was a picture to take, and that came up on my Facebook memory. It was very sweet. And then I was like, got to thinking about prom in high school, and I posted the memory on my Instagram story, and you like replied to it, and you were like, "Oh, your prom dress reminds me of my prom dress."
Yeah.
And so we like looked at each other's prom dresses, and so now we got to talk about prom.
Yeah, I'm so curious. I'm immediately going to ask, even though there's way more interesting stuff related to this that we could talk about. Is so your school was a lot bigger than mine.
Yeah.
And so when I was in high school, you could go to prom any year if you really wanted to, but typically people did kind of stick with a little bit of tradition in a way and only go like junior or senior year. And because I know a
Mm,
lot of high schools like you could only go if you're a junior or senior, and some of them are only senior because it's like senior prom. But I only went my junior and senior year because I stuck with that, like most people did. But I was curious, did you
yeah.
only go to one prom, and was it when you were a senior?
So, my high school did have the rule. It was more of like you
Mm-hmm.
could not buy prom tickets unless you had a junior or senior
Mm.
like ID card. And but I did go to prom 3 years. I went when I was a sophomore, junior, and senior
Mm.
year because my sophomore year, my boyfriend at the time was a junior, so he
Okay. Yeah.
like got us in. So you could go if you went with somebody who was like older, but you couldn't buy the tickets unless you were a junior or senior. So I went sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school. And I loved a school dance when I was in high
Yeah.
school. Like those, I was so happy to get to go 3 times. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah. Yeah.
I was stoked.
Yeah. I was super into dances. I went to like almost all of them probably that I could go to be honest. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I like Sadie Hawkins freshman year. We did like a, or who planned Sadie? I think the freshmen planned Sadie Hawkins, right? The freshmen planned Sadie Hawkins. The sophomores, I don't remember what the sophomores do. Juniors did homecoming and seniors did prom, I think. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That's like at our school because every class kind of had a little like, task force of who does the dance. And of course, every year, Nicole and I were most of that.
That's awesome.
Like to be honest, I don't think with Sadie Hawkins though, but we were like my little friend group freshman year were there was only like 10 people that went to Sadie Hawkins.
Aw.
And we were like, but it was such a good time, and it was like farmy cowboy themed, and so I had a little cowboy hat, and I wore this little like short little polka dot, it was black with white polka dot dress and cowboy boots, and it was super fun. I don't
That's
remember
really
what was the
cute.
sophomore dance. It was like winter formal or something. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
We
I.
only had homecoming and prom. Like there was
Oh,
no
you didn't have
other.
like a Sadie Hawkins or anything like that?
Not maybe I just didn't go to it, but I don't think we
Yeah.
did.
Oh wow. Okay. That's like the girls ask the guys thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
heard the Reliant K song.
Oh. That's funny.
I think it is, right?
uh. Oh my god. I don't remember. Do you want me to?
Anyways,
Yeah.
no. Um,
It doesn't matter.
no, we had homecoming and prom. I went to homecoming all 4 years, and then prom, all my sophomore, junior, and senior year, and they were like pretty big deals. Um, Homecoming was always like in the gym of our school, and then prom was usually at like a location, like not in the gym.
Oh yeah. I
Um,
guess some schools do that, huh? Yeah.
yeah. I know for sure one year it was at like the country club
Oh
that's like
okay.
in Medford.
Yeah.
So that was like very fancy, and then another year it was like somewhere else pretty fancy, I think.
Mm.
Like at some like hotel like
Oh wow.
ballroom
Yeah, we
place.
had where was prom my junior year? Oh my gosh. I don't remember. And I don't want to think too hard about it. Was that when we planned it? It was when we planned it. It was in the elementary school cafeteria.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, and because it was like bigger than the high school cafeteria, which is where all the other dances were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. It was the high school cafeteria. I believe that they didn't have them in the gym because there's too many nooks and crannies. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, you
that's
can't be having too many nooks and crannies
yeah.
at high school dance.
I believe that's why they didn't have it in the gym. So we had them in the
Interesting.
cafeteria. Yeah, and then my senior year prom was. Oh, maybe then did juniors plan prom and seniors plan homecoming? Oh my god, I'm getting it all mixed up. But a prom my senior year was actually like off campus in a cute little event center in Echo, which is like right down the street from Stanfield, like an even smaller town. But it was kind of a place where they did like I don't know wine stuff. I don't know, but it was like
Yeah.
a cute little place. And my
Yeah.
my two best friends got prom king and queen, which was directly
Aw.
out of a movie because we were like not, like the popular kids or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so it was really sweet actually. It was like really weird how that happened. But it
You
did.
know, my senior year at my senior prom, the prom queen and king were also like not the favorites to win, you know what I
Oh
mean? Like they
wow.
were like
Yeah.
kind of like two random people from band, and it was like what?
Oh, yeah. What? What's up with
Um
that? Yeah.
but the guy who won prom king wore an entirely neon orange suit
Like Dumb
with
and Dumber?
yes,
Oh my god.
and he won prom king in that suit.
Oh my god. That's amazing. Yeah, it was
Um,
my best friends Kyle and Amy, and I think that Kyle, it was very possible that he was like the only guy who even cared. Because it was like guys like never
yeah,
cared like to be cool or whatever. And it was like,
yeah,
well, that's good cuz he like was actually happy about it. So, it was really cute.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It was very sweet. I remember all of the other times like homecoming court and prom court were always like the same five people out of the entire
Oh,
like
uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
class, and
yeah.
like not to bash, but like they were
Yeah.
not like the best people, like they
Yeah.
were just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I guess you'll win it again,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
um yeah, I remember being like, I don't know, I just like never even wanted to like be on, like I never even felt left out that I wasn't voted
Hmm.
for it, because I'm like, that's just, I don't know.
I
I was
just knew
like,
it was just
oh,
unrealistic for me. I just never expected
I was like,
it.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so tell me more about your prom experience. Like what like your prom experience versus like a teen drama movie. similarities and differences.
I don't
Give them
know.
to
I
me.
guess I could say like some highlights that I remember randomly. Because at this point in my
Yeah.
life, even though I'm only 25, so it's not like I'm that far away from high school, I really only remember bits and pieces.
Yeah.
My prom, I tripped and fell down the stairs at my senior prom.
Mm.
It was okay.
Wow.
I'm fine. I had a big bruise on my shin for a long time, but I was okay.
Hmm.
I was it prom or homecoming? I feel so bad that I don't remember. Did I not go to my Okay, I'm losing my absolute mind because I have
Yeah.
to remember what dance we planned because we planned a dance and I don't remember if it was a homecoming or a prom. And it was like we did fire and ice, and it was mostly Nicole and I and our mom that put on like the whole thing, and we rented a
Wow.
fountain. And what we
Wow.
tried to do is we like essentially tried to, because this was in the elementary school cafeteria, because we like tried to split the room in half as much as possible and had one side was all red and the other side was all white. And we
Oh, that's
made,
cool.
yeah, because we had like the fountain on the ice side. We made cake pops for like
Wow.
snacks, and we made, I don't remember how we made it or what it looked like or how impressive it was, but I remember on the fire side, because we had a fountain on one side, so on the fire side we had like a fake little fire like on the floor. um and Yeah, so we did that. We were super proud of it. We made like the picture backdrop and we like cut out letters, like big bold letters with like felt and like sparkly construction paper, and it said like fire and ice and had like balloons, and like we were pretty proud of it. So I just want to throw that out there that like we planned that.
Wow.
What I'm curious about, and I think that this kind of goes along with like what parts of it were like more like a movie or not, is, and I guess I could share mine first, but did you ever get like asked to a dance in like a grand way? You know, like with a cute
Um,
sign or with something bigger than that?
yeah, so I out of my 3 proms, I got asked to prom by somebody else twice and I asked somebody to prom once. So, my sophomore year, my boyfriend at the time made a wanted poster. And it had my face on it, and then it said like wanted, like a date to prom.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember where he like put it, but he like put it up somewhere. And then yeah, so I don't know. That was like, I don't exactly remember how it all happened, but that was definitely like a gesture. And then my senior year, my good friend Jackson asked me to prom, and he, you know, the Marauders map in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
He like made that, like printed it out or whatever, but it was like my name and his name like in like the ballroom or something, like dancing. And it was like, oh, like, will you like dance with me at like the in the ballroom? I don't remember what it said. It
That's
was
so
like
nerdy.
something
I
like
love
that.
that. Yeah.
Or like it might have been, you know, in the book when Harry tries to ask like Cho Chang to the ball and he like stutters.
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe. Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
he might, I feel like Jackson like pulled some
Uh-huh.
quotes from that or something.
Yeah.
Very cute, very sweet. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are my two like getting asked to prom like
Yeah.
gestures.
Yeah. I have a couple cuz I dated one guy in high school and I went to my junior prom and my senior homecoming with him because it was like one
Mhm.
calendar year but like 2 school years kind of. And
Yeah.
I think it was for homecoming. For one of them, he made cupcakes and like brought them to my house and it said like homecoming on it, you know,
Well, that's
which was really
cute.
cute. Yeah. And then I think it was for my, so did I have one more homecoming after that? No, I had one more prom after that. So it must have been the homecoming before that. Anyway, it doesn't matter which one, I guess. So for like one of them, it must have been my junior homecoming. There was this guy, he was really sweet. We weren't like close friends or anything. I was on the cheer squad and I was the captain. It's not as grand as it sounds. I still think it's cool, but I just like always like to specify that like we weren't like a competitive cheer squad or anything. We were a really small town cheer squad. We didn't do a bunch of really fancy stuff.
Mhm.
We mostly just did cheers and like some really low key stunt stuff.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool for me. It's probably the coolest thing I did in high school. It's very not me energy. And I think even back then
Yeah.
it wasn't me energy. Like nobody believes that I was a cheerleader, much less like the captain in high school. Um,
Yeah.
and I do not have main character energy, and I especially did not in high school. Like, in
Yeah.
high school, I was like an extra at best. Like, I really did not have main character energy. So, this was like super amazing for me. But there was this guy, and he was really sweet, and he was the mascot for a while. So, he like did stuff with the cheer squad a little bit. And he was in my class, and we like grew up together. And he like kind of liked me. He like had a little crush on me, I think. And
Okay.
but I wasn't really interested in dating him or anything, and he was really sweet,
Yeah.
so he like understood that cuz we kind of had like a discussion once like after practice cuz he wanted to take me to homecoming. And so I was like, "Okay, well I just wanted to like make it clear that like I think that would be really sweet, but like I don't like what do you want out of this? That kind of stuff." Very mature for a high schooler, I guess, which is funny to
Yeah.
think about because that was before I was in my relationship. Won't get into that. And with a different guy. Um, and so he was like, okay, because I think we might have talked about how like I I wanted to have one of those moments because of course
Mhm.
being me and how I didn't I like I was didn't have this main character energy whatever and was like an angsty teenager, and I'm like I'm never going to get that like movie moment, where you like get asked in a really grand way to go to a dance or whatever. And so I was like I think like I would really like that, if you like want to, and I'll like go to this dance with you whatever. And he was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll do something fun. I'll do something cute." And so I was not expecting this. So what he planned was at a pep assembly. So I'm like all cheerleadered up and everything. At a pep assembly, and he had planned this with the other girls. We like stopped everything, and I think I was like sitting on the bleachers, and he had everyone stand up, and I don't remember what they did, but so this is in front of the whole school. This is at a pep assembly, and they
Wow.
all held up like signs. Um, that said like homecoming or whatever, like will you go to homecoming with me or whatever. And he gave me a rock, which this is kind of a funny thing, which like doesn't really relate like why a rock, but he gave me a rock that said like yes or no on it. And
Aw.
I think I just like it was so loud. I remember this very specifically because it was so dramatic, because it was like quiet because people were like, what's she gonna like
Mhm.
say? And I think I just like dropped the rock on the gym floor and it like clacked so loud. And I just like said yes and like gave him a hug, and it was all cute and sweet and whatever. But
Aw,
that is
yeah.
like my most like movie moment from high school, was that very cute, and it like made like my year, and it was very, and he's very very sweet wherever he is now. I hope that he's like doing good because he is absolutely one of the sweetest human beings ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like my most like movie moment, I think, from from a
That's
dance.
really sweet.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to prom once with like a guy who I was dating, and twice with like two of my best friends who are still two of my best friends now.
Yeah.
So like I have like a lot of fondness for the way that like they asked me and I asked them, and it was, I don't know, I just feel like, yeah, it wasn't quite like a as big of like a movie moment, but we still tried to like,
Like be
like be
cute.
like, it
Yeah.
wasn't just like, oh, we're just like friends and we'll just like go to this like
Yeah.
event together. It was like, no, we're
Mhm.
gonna like, not like go on a date, but like kind of, like make this like a this is
Yeah.
like a special like thing that we're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And I love that about high school dances because I feel like it's like, oh, it's like a reason to like put a lot of effort in or like do something
Yeah.
like
And once
kind of
you
extra.
realize, which I feel like was really important for me to realize in high school, and I hope that every kid, has this moment, that you don't have to have a romantic date. As a matter of fact,
No,
I almost recommend not doing it. I went to most dances just with my close group of friends, and they were like some of the
it's
best nights
fun.
of that time of my life. Like, they were super
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
I loved going, like, of my 3 proms, the one that I went to with, my good friend Taylor and the one I went to with my good friend Jackson were, like, really iconic nights.
Yeah.
Like, going to prom with, my friend Jackson, We treated it like kind of as a date. Like you've met Jackson, like think right?
I actually don't know if I have.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, Jackson and I say this, with all the love in my heart and also his full support, is like the gayest man I've ever met.
Yeah.
And he was in high school, like he was not like silenced,
Yeah.
and but he was like so excited to like take a lady out on the town. You know what I mean? He was like,
Yeah.
I'm buying dinner. Like,
Oh my god.
like, let me get you a corsage. Like,
Oh my
please.
god, that's really cute.
And so it was like this really iconic like moment in our friendship. Like, we went to like the fanciest restaurant in Medford.
Oh my god. That's really cute. Yeah, I really liked going to dinners. Like I think it was our senior prom, which was the iconic group of friends from high school was like senior year, and we all went to like dinner together at Denny's. I miss going to the dinners
Yeah.
before our dances. That's like the most fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to dinner before, and then we would go to the dance, and then we would go to like Sherry's or like somewhere Sherry's adjacent. Like after, and get like soda and fries and stuff like after.
Mm-hmm.
And that was always very fun. I'm curious because I know that you wouldn't have participated in this, but like were people drinking at your prom? Like were people
If
like
they were, I did not know about it. Like that's how out of the loop I was with whatever. If they were, I did not know about it. If anybody was doing anything spicy or anything at any point, I did not know about it. I'm sure that it was happening. But yeah, I did not. I was not one of those. That's another, I guess, like stereotypical movie thing that may or may not, probably does happen in real life. But I was so just not doing that at that time in my life. So no, I don't know. Did anyone ever, like spike the punch or anything like that, or did you do anything scandalous at prom or after prom or whatever?
Well, okay. During prom and after prom are two different things.
I definitely just went home and went to bed, so.
My sophomore year, it was like completely wholesome. Like literally nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I went with like somebody I was like dating at the time.
Oh yeah.
So like nothing, like there was no scandal. I was never like drinking at prom or before prom, like no. Mostly because I was like terrified. Like I was a little bit rebellious, but I was not rebellious at school in any way. Well, okay, that's not entirely true, but
I was not rebellious at all at any time, so I did.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like not gonna get caught at like a school function. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I was not gonna, like, even if I would have drank like when I was a junior in high school, which I'm not saying that I did, but even if I was gonna do that, I would not have been doing it like at a school function.
Had the audacity, yeah.
No. So yeah, and I did definitely know the people who were, though. Like I was aware of it. Like there were drunk people at my proms. There were people like I don't think anyone was like doing drugs. Like probably like maybe a little bit, but like definitely people were drinking. Mostly people would just like drink before they got there, like not like while they were there.
Oh yeah.
And definitely people were like having sex and stuff like that for sure. And yeah, when I was a sophomore and I went with my like actual boyfriend at the time, again, completely wholesome, like literally, like we just like went home afterwards. I think, like, I don't even think we went to Sherry's, like, like it was very like, okay, we went on this, like,
the night's
prom,
over now,
like, go home.
Yeah.
My junior and senior year was a bit more like rowdy, I guess, afterwards. Like again, I was not like really drinking at that time. Like my senior year, actually, I think I did after prom, but like not at, like, I was home.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I think I was like at my house, but like Jackson was still there.
Sure, yeah.
So like it wasn't like that scandalous,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew more people were drinking at like my senior prom and like that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely like I knew people like driving home from prom would like stop at like select locations to like have sex and like do that
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. Like I was more aware of that happening
Uh-huh.
when I was a senior, I think.
Yeah.
But I went to prom with my gay best friend, so I
Yeah,
was not having
nothing was
sex
happening. Yeah.
on prom night.
Yeah. Nothing like that was happening for me in high school. I'm sure, I mean, now that I think about it, I'm sure that I knew people who were probably engaging in any kind of scandalous activity before, during, and or after. But yeah, I just didn't, I was just not in the loop. Just like was
Yeah.
unaware.
I mean, I truly, because okay, and here's the thing is like, yeah, I'm gonna say this. I did okay, I did have sex and I did drink in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But like
I
I
did
was
not.
having too much
So
fun
that's just
at prom
yeah.
to
Yeah,
like
you
do it
don't
during
have to
prom.
do that to like have fun at prom, you know?
No.
Yeah.
Like prom was fun enough. I was like
Yeah. Yeah, you're like,
know.
I don't need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I personally, I don't know. This doesn't have to, I don't think this is a controversial opinion. I really don't think that kids should be doing that at prom or maybe any other time.
Yeah.
Like, you're a child. I don't know. But I mean, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Don't drink if you're under 21, please. Especially if you're a
I know,
teenager.
I'm not condoning. Okay, I'm not condoning.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I mean, like, I understand, you know, if you're like parental supervision. I mean, I have my own opinions about what I think is right or not, and I don't drink at all. So like, take that how you will.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
I actually, this is kind of a side note, but I actually really would like to do a podcast episode about our opinions about drinking.
Sure.
And just like drinking culture in general and just have a more in-depth conversation about that, because I find it really interesting to talk to you about it because you and I have pretty different like perspectives on it.
Yeah, and I have growing, evolving perspectives on it too. I also just like maybe a month ago got a low-key straight edge tattoo. So
yeah. Okay, so we'll circle back to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, prom was not the time I was doing anything rebellious. I was like simply wearing a pretty dress, showing up with my friends, dancing, hanging out, maybe drinking a milkshake on the way home.
Yeah.
Calling it good.
Yeah, to me, going with friends, I think also was the best time as well, because when I was in a relationship, and I don't want to, the guy that I was with, I do not have any like ill feelings towards him, so nothing that I'm saying, like, I don't like, you know, want to make him sound bad or anything, because like I don't have any ill feelings towards him. But he was like kind of lame at dances. So you know how there's people who like are, for whatever reason, like too shy to dance or whatever, you know? Like too, like me and my friends, we were out there on the floor doing whatever silly things. Especially junior and senior year. Especially senior year. And we were just like there to have a good time. We were doing all this stuff. And so like when I was in a relationship, like the homecoming and prom that I went to, it was like he would dance with me during the slow songs. And then during all the other like fun dancey songs, he would like not even be there, and I would just be like dancing with all my other friends the whole time because he was like too like shy and like kind of lame to like, you know, let loose and like dance. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna like dance with my gay best friend, who no one knew at the time was gay, because that's like not a thing that you are where I grew up. At least that people know, you know, like my best friends and everything. Like, you know, I'm like, I'm gonna have a good time. Yeah, just dancing to, what's that song? Who does it? The Chains and Whips song. The music that they play.
Oh, Rihanna?
Yeah, Rihanna. I just like, speaking of weddings, like we were like earlier before this, I really feel like that my wedding playlist is going to be a little bit similar to like the playlist that played during high school dances, to be honest.
Okay,
some Teo Cruz.
Yeah. Yeah. Something that you said before we started recording was like when we just debriefed on like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about prom. Okay. You were like, oh, now that we're adults, like we can't go to
I did
prom.
say that. Yeah,
But like I'm gonna go to your wedding and it's gonna be
Yeah.
kind of like prom. And like I feel like weddings in general are kind of, I mean, I get to wear a fancy dress
Mhm.
and I get to dance
Mhm.
and
And you're
like
with your
hang out. Like,
friends? Yeah.
yeah, like that sounds like prom to me.
I love that. And like you could also kind of argue that Justin asking me to marry him is a little bit like asking me to prom.
Promposal, you know, proposal, promposal.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna make Abe ask me to be his date to your wedding in
Yeah.
a cool way.
Yeah. Oh my god, yes please. Yeah. That's so cute. Yeah, cuz that concept cuz I remember being a freshman in college and I was on Ace Board, which is like it's kind of a club but also like a work study thing. Where we planned events, and that included
Mhm.
things that were similar to dances. And I don't know if you remember, like freshman year, there was kind of like essentially a freshman dance, like for every freshman year.
Oh,
Yeah, there was like it was
I
essentially
did
like a
not attend,
dance.
I don't think.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Yeah.
think it happened during like the first week. Um,
Mm.
and it was a thing that they did like every year because I probably set it up the next 3 years that I was in college. Like I probably helped set it up.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember being on Ace Board and then experiencing as I was progressing through the college years, the newer freshmen when they would come in and they would be like, "Oh my gosh, we should like do a thing that's kind of like a high school dance essentially, you know." And it's like
Yeah.
that's not well, that's like not what we do anymore. And then like freshmen learning that's like that's not what happens anymore, you know? Is
Yeah.
like you don't have dances, like prom's over and you're really bummed about it for a while and then you kind of figure out, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like that's the way it is now. Cause I feel like, I don't know, it's really interesting that it exists. And like, I feel like as adults, we do a similar thing, you know, like we party and stuff. If you want to,
Yeah.
you go to concerts, you go to clubs, you have your own parties that you host at your house, stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
but it's interesting now that I think about it because I don't do stuff like that, but I loved high school dances, but I don't go out and like go to bar. I do go to concerts though, which I guess is similar.
Yeah, you go to concerts
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, and you go to parties.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess the biggest difference is that there's no you don't like ask someone romantically to go with you, which is a
Yeah.
big thing that's like expected and traditional about high school dances is having a date. Like a romantic
Yeah.
date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I do know in college, like colleges that actually have like sororities and fraternities, they have dances still.
Oh, okay.
Our college just didn't have that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And I, you know, I can say this on here because nobody listens to this, but what? So we've been having themed parties at our house.
Oh yeah, which is so cute.
Which yeah, I've really been enjoying, and one of the ones we want to do really soon, actually, and this has been on the list since the beginning, is have prom like at our house.
Yeah, oh my
And make all of
gosh.
our friends like ask each other. Like you have to ask your girlfriend to like come to prom with you.
Yeah, yeah. That's cute.
And stuff like that. So yeah. I love prom. I think it's so cute and so fun to like wear a prom dress.
Yeah.
I love that.
Honestly,
like,
that's the biggest thing that kind of sucks is that you can't like wear prom dresses anymore. There's like, you
I
know,
know. I'm like,
yeah.
where am I gonna wear a ball gown to? Like, I
Yeah.
need to wear a ball gown.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly run down what your dress looked like.
Oh yeah. Do you want
At each of your proms.
Okay. So I will remember I think the homecoming that I went with that really sweet guy, I wore it was a short-ish. It wasn't like super short, but it wasn't like full length. And it was like a cottony fabric and it was red with kind of like a black stripe down the middle. It was a little bit it wasn't bad. There was a dance. What was the dance that I wore? The one-shoulder dress. That was a crime. Oh my
no.
god. I wore like I had my hair up. It was short and it was like that silky fabric that was a lot of dresses back then and it was what do you call it? Is it ruched? Is it gathered? You know on the bottom how it's like gathered like it's pinned, you know?
I know.
And it was
I
short
totally know.
and it was the top it had one strap and the strap had fake flowers on it. And the top was black and it had a lime green belt and the bottom was gray, I think, or it was like the other way around, but it had like a lime green belt. It was a crime.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, delete those pictures. My what did my homecoming dress when I went with my boyfriend at the time was a high low because that was my thing, and it was black and it was had spaghetti straps and it had like a little bling belt, like it had a little belt and it was
Oh,
like
cute.
bedazzled and it was actually pretty cute.
Yeah.
There's actually those pictures on my Facebook of that dress. My prom dresses though. Oh, there was one dance, I think it was a homecoming that I wore a dress. So, two dances, I wore a dress that used to belong to Kaylee, who's my stepsister. And
Mhm.
so they were extra like, I mean, they were from the like 2000s, you know, and at the time it
Wow.
was the
Yeah.
2010s. So they were like, you know, she wore them to her dances. And so the first one was actually really pretty. I might still have it, trying to sell it if anyone wants it. And it was really plain but really nice. It was spaghetti strap. The top was almost like a velvet. It was a really kind of pale purple color, and the top kind of had this like velvety, almost floral design. And then it
Okay.
had not a, it was like, what do you call it, like regents or something like that, where it like
Yeah.
the waistline or like kind of ended like where you're like right under your boobs,
Mm. Yeah.
but
Oh,
it
yeah, I know.
but it was still kind of not really form fitting, but it was still kind of flattering. Like it didn't just like go
Yeah.
straight after that. It was kind of like A line and it went to the floor, and then it had a sheer piece of fabric on top of the bottom part, and it like split down the middle, like slit all the way from like the top, like right under the boobs, like down to the floor. And so when you walked, that part of the dress like flew behind you. It was really cute. So that
Okay.
was one of my, I think, homecoming. And then my two prom dresses, there was the one picture that you saw, which
Mhm.
was there's another picture too. It wasn't quite mermaid, but it was form fitting and like I think it is ruched. And it had a big
Mm.
bedazzly thing on one side, which I actually was not a huge fan of, but I liked this dress so much that I decided it was okay. So it had this big, like, bedazzled, weird thing on one side that all the, like, ruching was gathered into. It was sleeveless, and it was tight down to, like, right below the butt, and then it, like, flared out. And it was
Mm.
fuchsia, and it
Yeah.
was this, like, where it kind of changed color in the light, you know? It was so
Oh,
amazing. I
yeah.
actually still have that dress, and
Nice.
because I'm trying to find like a good place to, I want someone to wear it and love it, and I want, like, we still wearing
Yeah.
dresses that look like that from the
Yeah.
2010s, but um yeah, I want to sell it or give it away or something for I don't have it because I feel like I needed to keep it. I just like
Yeah.
still have it. My senior prom was another Kaylee dress, and it was very not me, but it fit me so well that I loved it so much, so I wore it. And I don't know if there are any good pictures of me in this dress. There might be, but it was almost mermaid, so it was pretty form fitting and it was very flattering. And I did not usually wear stuff like that. And it was completely, it had like beading all
Mm.
over it, like completely like beaded designs. And it might have been a halter top, maybe. That's
Yeah.
the dress that I fell down the stairs in.
Oh,
I think I
yeah.
like slipped on the bottom of the dress actually.
Oh my
But
god.
that was very not me, but that was like the like prettiest I think I'd felt in high school. Like that night was just amazing. I was like
Aw,
wearing this
yeah.
dress, I like felt pretty cuz it like fit
Yeah.
me really well. Yeah. So that's my that's my
Wow.
rundown. Yeah. What were
I
your
like I said,
iconic dresses?
we only had homecoming and prom, and I went to all of them, and I wore a different dress for all of them. So,
I did too, yeah. I did not rewear a dress. No way.
no.
I had to have
Freshman,
a different one.
yeah. Freshman homecoming, I wore just like this little, it was pretty simple, like bodycon, I don't know, like tight, form fitting black dress,
Oh.
but the top, like the boob part, was silver sequin.
Ooh, oh my gosh. I do not like secrets.
Yeah. Yep. Anyways,
Yeah,
so
it was a sign of the
it
times, I
could only
guess.
get worse from there. So
Oh no.